All right, we ready? And grab your bag and go. That's it, move, move. Go, 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 go. One, Armani suits and run.
Manager to cash register. Manager to cash register.
All right, welcome to week 4, Armani Suits and Run, Circa Millions. We have a special guest this week, new foreign correspondent. He is the co-host of the Jones and Keefe show on WEEI weekdays 10 to 2. Also co-host of the Dork podcast, Arvon D, Ryan Davey, and owner and general manager of Valley Forge Tires of the Gentlemen's Club Fantasy Football League. Please welcome to the pod, Rich Keefe.
Tristan, thank you so much for having me. Let me assure you that the pleasure is all on this side of the Zoom tonight.
Yes, appreciate that. And if we had a show producer, we probably would have had some applause, but
Yeah.
we haven't we haven't
fine.
gotten to that yet. Yeah,
That's fine.
It's a startup. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, so we'll Rich, obviously you're here as our new international games foreign correspondent, taking over for 40. Who did not do so well last year. But happy to have you. You're going to help us pick the Vikings and Steelers game, which is in Dublin, Ireland. We'll do a quick recap of week 3, how the week went, where we're at overall, and then we'll jump into that first game and have you take it away. Bit of a grind for us last week. Started out the season, couple back-to-back 3-2s, as we've been calling them. 3-2 is par, so we had back-to-back pars, but bit of a bad beat, Bowen, with your game. We were on the Rams plus 3.5, and just a really unfortunate. Yep, there it is. It just clicked for Rich.
I was like, oh yeah,
let me
brutal.
dial that game back for a second. We were feeling really good. In fact, I actually remember, I think at one point, Kieran, you sent a text to the group, and I'm not blaming you. This is not me placing blame, but I forget what the play was, and you were like, "I love this for the number." And
I think Bowen was saying that too, to be fair.
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
I'm
feeling
sure
We were doing
all-
the spread math and we realized,
Yeah.
hey, I mean, and the thing was, I was texting Zach Angel at the same time, and I was saying, I mean, like, pretty much barring a catastrophe, the spread was on lock. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
sure what the, they have like
I
those
think
graphs
that
that kind of go up and down and everything. But I mean, up to that point, I mean,
Yeah.
99.999% of the time
Likely.
that does cover. I mean, even just think about it. There's the slow-mo videos up close where you can see how the kicker was like pushed out of the way as he was about to fall on the ball.
Yeah.
Like there were so many ways where that could have just bounced a different way for us and covered. But the absolute outlier of the moment, Jordan Davis, like the biggest guy in the league, runs it back, hits like 18 miles an hour. Is unbelievable.
He was absolutely moving.
He
Absolutely.
could have just gone down. I mean, like he could have just picked the
Could've.
ball up, gotten like 10 yards out, and realized what was on the line there and just slid or something.
Yeah, he was leaving with something. So that was rough. But Bowen really, had a good looking pick there. Just didn't go your way.
Yeah.
The other loss we had in the early slate was mine, or not the early slate. I was in the afternoon slate, but I was on the Cowboys. Cowboys -1. Really never felt like we were in that game. Didn't help that CD went down, but it wasn't looking great before that anyway. Um, just a terrible read by me. Just a really, really terrible read. But Kieran picked us up early with the Jags. What were they? Was it -1.5 against the Texans?
I believe so. Something small like that.
Yeah. So good. Good win there, much needed. So we're 1-2 going into the night game. And then so for that one, it was Giants and Chiefs. We were on the Giants +6. Bowen and Kieran, you guys were on the Giants. I had the Chiefs. But we do so for the primetime games, Keith, we go basically majority rules.
Yep.
But we do have one rule in place where if all 3 of us are on the same side, we call it the Costanza rule, and we automatically flip the pick.
Oh, okay.
And
Interesting.
Costanza's 1-0 this year.
Got it. Okay. I'm curious to keep up
And
with
I'm
the
not sure what the
Costanza.
lifetime record is, but just going off of vibes, maybe we don't even want to check. But it feels like it's a profitable strategy.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so we're on the Giants +6. Very frustrating game to watch because, like, I mean, obviously Russell's been benched since, so that kind of that kind of says everything. But I mean, even just like that sequence down in the red zone, four consecutive plays, and I think he threw it into the tunnel 3 times. Fourth down, didn't even try to force it, just threw it away. Diabolical strategy from Russell Wilson. So tough stuff there. And then went into the Monday night game really in desperate need of a win, and we turned to Man Campbell and the Lions, and that was like an automatic pick. We do have an obsession with Dan Campbell and the Lions on this pod. We call it the Man Campbell pick of the week. We put him on the wheel, and it hit. And I think we were all on that side anyway. So
Well, you can't. You also can't forget the moon stat.
yes. Oh yeah. Well,
Wax and Gibbous or whatever. Their last 2 years, they're 9-1 under that moon. I'm not sure if they were 8-1 moving to 9-1 or 9-1 to 10.
I think they were 9
But
to 10.
yeah, we called it the
Yeah.
Dan Campbell written in the stars pick of the week. So one, the Man Campbell rule followed with the correlation to the moon phase had to play.
Yep. And another great storyline in that game, which only relevant to Keefe and I, was David Montgomery's performance, which lifted me to a huge victory over Will Woodward.
Yep.
Um,
Huge.
just an intense rivalry. I was really happy to come out on top of that one. So, so 2-3 on the week. It's a bogey. We're 8-7 overall. But I mean, relatively speaking, to be 8-7 after 3 weeks, not too bad of a spot to be in. And again, I think every week there's been at least one game, where it felt like we were on the right side, had it late, and then just really had the pick flip on us at the last second. So,
Well, I don't know if you saw they tweeted out the not the standings, but they
yeah,
kind of show like the tiers of each record.
yeah,
And I don't I'm not sure we fell too much. We actually might have just by going 2-3, kind of
yeah,
just doing some quick eyeball math.
yeah,
It felt like we might have actually been able to kind of stand our ground and maybe have some teams pass us on the way down because just thinking back to last week when we were looking and then this week when I saw it, it didn't seem like we had as many
yeah,
or any more teams that were kind of stacked up with us or above us. So
yeah. Could have been a
I think some teams might have gotten crushed. There might have
yeah,
been some 1-4, some 0-5. So
yeah. Well, sometimes bogey is a par. Just get
yeah,
out of it with your bogey. I think, as we called it, classy bogey. So, all right. Well, let's get into week 4. So we've got the international game. Keith, that's why you're here. They're playing in Dublin. Vikings are 2.5-point favorites. Take us through the pick. What do you got?
I do have. Should we spin the wheel? I have a wheel for Keefe if we want to.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So
Let's give Keith his will.
I just figure might as well give him the full.
The full experience.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Let's see.
Come on. Come on.
I do have another wheel too. So
All right. I love it. Yes.
hold on. Here we go.
All right.
Okay.
Give it to me.
This is the full experience.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. Great. Neutral site game in Dublin, Minnesota, Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you, it is Minnesota -2.5. That's the line. That's also the pick. And here's why. Because I saw every second of Pittsburgh's game last week against the Patriots.
Mhm.
They caused 5 turnovers and probably should have still lost the game. It wasn't for if Pop Douglas didn't run the other way, they were going to march down, score, and then this game was going to go overtime, whatever happens. 5 turnovers. They couldn't really do anything. They've been very underwhelming. Their defense is bad. I know Minnesota's on their backup quarterback. I think their backup quarterback might be better than their season starter. I think Justin Jefferson's going to have a monster game in this one. Garrett Wilson scored a touchdown week 1 against the Steelers. Drake May threw 2 touchdown passes last week. Sam Darnold threw 2 touchdowns in week 2 against them. So it's really more of an anti-Steelers pick. I like that it's inside of 3, obviously, and I'll take Minnesota neutral site. Neither team has really a history of international games. I was looking this up, like Kevin O'Connell, Mike Tomlin. There really isn't much of a history there with those guys, but I feel really good about the Vikings winning this one by at least a field goal.
I gotta say, I love it. I mean, I was ready to go to war if you were on the other side. Um, because I was just looking at it, and I do think, right, the only one real question mark, or the only thing that really makes you feel uneasy is Carson Wentz being the quarterback. But I actually thought he looked pretty good, and I think sometimes, right, you get the veterans in these spots, and they kind of know how to just stay steady as long as you can give them some protection as well, right? We're seeing what's happening with Daniel Jones, and it might just be KOC working that quarterback magic, but. Yeah, I mean, a couple stats that stood out to me was Rodgers. He's faced a Brian Flores led defense once before, and it was last year when the Jets played the Vikings in London. So it was in an international game that he saw him. They lost 23-17. Rodgers threw two picks. He's played in two international games in his career, and in both second halves combined, his teams have scored 12 points. So I don't think he travels well. I think Brian Flores might be able to scheme against him. And when you look at the stats, the Vikings, they're really only kind of weak against the run, but that's more volume based. And I just don't think that the Steelers are really built in a way to kind of exploit that. So I think if they're able to take away the pass, you can kind of let Jalen Warren run the ball if they want to. And I just don't think he's capable of carrying them to it. So I like the Vikings, like you said, inside of a field goal.
Yeah, with Pittsburgh, it's really just DK Metcalf, offensively. So if you can like take him out, there's not a whole lot there. I think Justin Jefferson, who had more catches last week with Wentz than he had previous weeks with McCarthy. I know he had the touchdown week one, and last week was crap. They just blew out Jake Browning and the Bengals, and the defense was all over it. But I'm with you. Flores cooks up a great defense all the time. I expect them to hold down the Steelers. And despite having like TJ Watt and some other big names on defense, they're giving up like 400 yards a game offensively or defensively, I should say. So, no, I like this one. I like the Vikings. Even like last year, they had Sam Darnold. They won like 14 games or whatever it was. Like, so they're kind of quarterback proof.
Yeah.
And I think the Steelers are going to be below 500 again this year. So this one looks like I feel pretty good about Minnesota.
No, I like what you said earlier too. I mean, just the fact playing against the Patriots, they forced, well, it was a 5 turnovers,
Five.
and still somehow Patriots were right there at the end, and should have won that game. As
Yeah.
Probably says more about the Steelers,
Yeah.
and just I mean how bad they actually are. One interesting stat I found: favorites have excelled in the international games. They're 32-18 against the spread.
Hmm.
Another interesting stat. So, the Vikings now officially playing with a backup in Carson Wentz. Since 2020, Steelers have faced a backup QB 18 times. Backup QB is 11-7 against the spread versus Pittsburgh in that span. So, feels like this could be a good spot as both the favorite with a backup. And yeah, I think with Wentz, like, I mean, obviously he's been around, he knows how to throw the ball around the field, and he knows that in order for him to be successful, he's got to go to Justin Jefferson. I think you said he, went to him more last week than JJ was seeing earlier. So I'm sure we'll see more of that this week too. So
Definitely.
Bowen, any thoughts?
Uh, Jordan Addison, anytime touchdown, deep ball. He's back off the suspension. Like you said, Wentz has to air it out. If Jalen Ramsey gets caught on the outside with Jordan Addison, that could be a really big mismatch. Jalen Ramsey's looked kind of big, bulky, slow, and I think they'll be trying to expose that all day. So Jordan Addison, anytime touchdown. Love the pick.
All right. I'll throw that in the queue.
Yeah.
I'll add another one too. A very sneaky long shot. I think Carson Wentz. You can get him around 6-1. Justin Fields, of course, he's a very prolific runner, but he scored 2 touchdowns against the Steelers in week one. Drake May ran for 45 yards last week. Carson Wentz is a little bit older, right? But we know that he can move it, and he's got a big body. So even if they get inside the 5, if they do look to pass, and I know the Vikings do like to pass around the goal line, if he doesn't like what he sees, maybe he tucks it and runs it himself. So not bad value on that one.
Well, since we're
Plus,
giving out
a redhead in Ireland.
since we're giving out prop bets, I'll go Aaron Rodgers to throw a pick. I'm sure it's minus 50, but there's one for you. But Keefe, you know what you're going to go for the Bozo parlay this week yet?
So it's funny. I was actually right now leaning towards Justin Jefferson because he was plus 155 for an anytime touchdown, which I feel like for him is the most juice you're going to get for a while.
Probably.
So I kind of like that one as of right now. I am leaning that way.
No, that's
I
great.
think I might parlay all 4 of these picks that we just talked about. Addison anytime, Jefferson anytime, Wentz anytime, Aaron Rodgers to throw a pick. That's I'm gonna put that in. I'm gonna just see what happens.
I like
See
it.
what happens.
It's got to be pretty
That
juicy.
that can be special too. That can be real
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
An
Use
early
your
morning heat too.
use your ghost leg parlay.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, now the ghost leg, you're kind of getting ripped off a little bit. You got to bet to get like a token now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's I actually used it tonight. I think it's like a $20 bet to get a token. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I was seeing them tweet out. They would tweet out like the first 2 weeks. People made this much money off the ghost leg, and it'd be like $150,000. Of course, I lost every time that I used it, so I wasn't
Yeah,
part of that.
I wasn't I
Yeah,
wasn't.
and then they decide, oh well, too many people are actually winning, so we have to maybe
You gotta
tone
make
it
it
down a
harder.
little bit. So I just
Absolutely.
totally missed out on the wave.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, Keefe, thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys. Thanks to you
Yeah.
guys. Good luck. And if you need me again, let me know. Hopefully I hit this one. Maybe you'll have me back.
Oh, we absolutely will. Good
All
talk.
right.
We'll see you out there.
All right, later.
We'll see.
Later.
All
What
right.
a pro. What an absolute pro.
That was great. Came
Yeah.
prepared. All right. So we've done the international game. We got the pick in. We're each going to have our 3 individual picks. And then I assume we're going to spin the wheel to decide
Yeah,
what.
I have a primetime wheel.
Yeah, that's what we did last year, right? We just kind
Yeah,
of sorted through that way. Yeah.
and then of course it's there's a double header, so it's actually 3 games
Oh,
to choose from.
I think I
There-
missed.
there's a few smelly ones too. The Bengals play, right? Bengals are like 7.5 point dogs.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's I mean Sunday could maybe be all right, but yeah,
Yeah,
so you got
yeah.
Green Bay Dallas on Sunday, and then Monday is the Jets and Dolphins, and then the Bengals and the Broncos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I mean that could be interesting depending on which Jake
Yeah.
Browning shows up, but
we have a big moment in this football game right now.
Wait, what happened?
no.
Oh, oh my God. Oh my God, what a catch.
That was Michael Wilson. Need some yards. I mean, he didn't get robbed. He went out of bounds, but he almost had a really nice sideline catch that might have been able to get him out of field goal.
That was an unbelievable catch.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
All
I
right.
didn't even realize the Cardinals scored.
Yeah,
Like
and then the Seahawks
make it a
field
one
goal.
possession. Oh
Wait,
Jesus.
how did they score?
Marvin Harris.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it looked like he was about to cry on the field after he caught it.
What a pussy.
Sure he was
What a fucking pussy.
All right, we're going to the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hit the wheel.
All right. No plan.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow.
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 All right.
Hold on, let me just flip to my notes. Where is it? I'm on the Falcons +1 at home against Washington. I'm not totally sure what the status on Jaden Daniels is. I think he might have been limited today.
That's correct.
I feel like they're maybe going to take it easy with him. I just think that there's really no reason. I don't think they're necessarily feeling too much urgency if they need to wait one more week. But just looking at the matchups, right, I think this might be a low-scoring game. But I like looking at the matchup. I think it's a good matchup for Darnell Mooney. I like wide receiver twos against this Washington pass defense. I also think that Kyle Pitts could be getting some red zone targets. It just feels like they were a little off, right? They had the looks when you see the tape that was going out on Twitter last week. They had the looks. Michael Penix just wasn't throwing the ball. And, he said the very, obvious thing where it's, I just need to throw the ball when I see the open receiver. But, I think that those are some things, and they're making the adjustments of bringing Zach Robinson back down to the field so he can work a little bit closer with the young quarterback. So I think that if they can just connect on those things, I think it can work out. I don't really like the way that things were looking for Washington. I already kind of felt bad about them going into this year. I just felt like the vibes were a little bit off with what they were doing to Terry McLaurin in those contract negotiations. And of course they trade Brian Robinson, and then they lose Austin Eckler. And it just feels like that offense is stripped down a bit right now. And I'm not sure how they're going to be able to function against the Falcons defense that hasn't been so bad. I think that if the Falcons can keep that low, I think there's a little bit of a bounce back spot for this Falcons offense, and all they got to do is pull off the win at home. So, I like them in a low scoring game.
I I think this is a classic. With that line only being one, I think they're just begging the public to hammer the fuck out of Washington. I think that's exactly what they want people to do. Regardless of quarterback, there might be a bit of Marcus Mariota baked into that, but um, Mariota looked fine last week. Ultimately, like he played a pretty good game, efficient game. But yeah, no, I like the bounce back spot for the Falcons. I think, like I said, I think it's sort of a trap kind of feel line. I think everybody, majority of the public will be on Washington. So, like the pick. Think it's a sharp play.
Yeah, I thought that too, just I mean, with how awful the Falcons looked last week. And, I mean, not to say that they were like looking like world beaters, but I think just a really uncharacteristic, unexpected performance to not only lose to the Panthers, but lose as bad as they did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then, I think for them to be +1, like it definitely feels like a bit of a rat line. And I think um good to see them bounce right back. I like the pick.
You also you don't have to believe in Michael Penix in totality and long term for
Yeah.
them to win this game. I think Bijan will be the best player on the field
Yep.
whenever he's playing a Washington defense this caliber. And I think that he could go crazy on them too. So Drake London's due. Bijan's best player on the field, and you know they're gonna have their scoring opportunities. So.
Yep. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I like Mooney to score here too. I mean, I'm just looking at the stats. Wide receiver twos, they're averaging 67 yards a game, 3 touchdowns with 3 red zone targets through 3 games. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's like a good floor for Drake London, but I don't know if this is necessarily going to be his breakout 2025 game. I think that he can
Yeah.
maybe put together a solid performance. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, to see Mooney and Pitts get some good touchdown opportunities. And when London's maybe like a solid floor and low ceiling, and it's the other guys that are set up to eat, I just think it's a perfect spot for that type of offense to maybe start clicking a little bit. So plus having a bounce back game at home, I think that's more ideal. If they were on the road, maybe we're looking at it a little bit differently. But
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
All right, let's pull
All
that
right.
back up. All right.
Right. I'm going Bucks +3.5 over
Ooh.
the Eagles. So in the last decade, teams that won a game after coming back from 14 plus, 54, 72, and 1 in the next game against the spread. Baker's 15-7, ATS as a dog, with the Bucks. Eagles are 0-2 versus the Bucks since 2024. They've only won one of the last six. And in Baker's last two games against the Eagles, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's thrown for over 600 yards. Got like a high 60s completion percentage. Plays really well. I think obviously we started to see a little bit of life, from the Eagles and that offense, to come all the way back, in that game last week. But even still, they're still something still doesn't feel right. And I got a feeling about these Bucks. I got a feeling about Baker. I'm starting to have thoughts about Baker MVP. He's got guys going around him. He's still just kind of willing this team to victory. I've always been a Baker fan. And I love the fact that they've got the extra hook. So I'm taking Bucks +3.5 this week.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick. I know Jordan Davis. We talked about it before the show. I think going, but Jordan Davis with that block and return for a touchdown to kind of push that game to a different number. But I mean, the Rams were a 45-yard field goal away from winning that game. I know that's loser talk coming from the guy who had the Rams last week, but it's not like the Eagles, even though they did come back. It's not like they, uh, you know, blew the Rams out by any means or really won, because of the offense. And I don't know if they really won, you know, uh, I guess this whole year it's just kind of been like besides that Chiefs besides that Chiefs game, they really just haven't really won you know strong. It's always kind of been limping. So I do think the Bucks, the way they've been keeping games close, getting the ball last, going down the field and scoring, even without Mike Evans, even without Tristan Wirfs, I don't think he's back yet. I think he's close to coming back, but he's not back yet. I just think that they're going to lean on Bucky, lean on Ibuka, and lean on Baker to be their guy. So
I
I like that.
like them. I like them too when they kind of get forced to go like with both backs.
Yeah,
Oh, and then you get both Rashad White and you get, Bucky on the field together.
yeah.
Uh, I think makes it's just hard because they're both really talented backs. But yeah, Kieran, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this was like the fourth game that DeMarcado guy actually scored.
Oh
But
my God.
this actually was like the fourth game of my court, and it truly was like the last game off. I really like the matchup for the Bucks. The only thing that kind of got me away from that was that one, I like three other picks
Mhm.
more, but also the reason for that was just things like Mike Evans probably being out, or I think he's definitely out. I think Ibuka, he's been just a little bit banged up. I know they're talking about working Godwin in, but there have been some injuries on the Bucks side. But I do think that defense is well equipped to at least take on that run. I'm not going to say stop the run, just because we
Yeah.
know how inevitable things can kind of be with that Eagles offense when they're running the ball. But outside of that, if they're forced to pass, I think it's a fine matchup for AJ Brown. But besides that, I think that they can do a pretty good job. So I think they can keep it maybe a little bit lower scoring, and just kind of keep it within a possession, and hopefully that means within a field goal for us, if not winning it outright. So, yeah, like I said, I mean that was the fourth game, and then really like the last game that I crossed off.
Mhm. All right. Bucks plus 3.5.
Rams minus 3.5.
Oh my god.
I am a glutton for pain. I want it. I need it. I uh I really, really think they just fucking shit on the Colts this weekend. Colts have been playing like world beaters. They are probably point differential the best team in the league to start off the year. They had that historic start with the no punting in like 2+ games. And they've been putting up like 40 points a game. Jonathan Taylor looks amazing. Been the best running back in the league in the, you know, really end of last year and beginning of this year. He's been RB1 like 4 out of the 7 weeks or something like that, dating back to last year. Clearly clicking, but I don't care about all that. I don't care about that. That's in the past. These first 3 weeks, a lot of teams get off to good starts. A lot of teams get off to good starts. The narrative coming into this season was that the Colts were not a very good team. They were not going to be able to, sustain much success. Steichen was on the hot seat. Ballard was on the hot seat. And, I think water finds its level here. The Rams crushing loss last week. Crushing loss. Definitely one they wish they could get back. They played a good game against a good team in the Eagles, and had a huge special teams blunder that seems to be something that they've had a problem with all year. I saw a video going around of that right guard or that left guard spot kind of being exposed the week prior to. I trust McVay to fix that, and I don't foresee a blocked field goal, touchdown again this week in the last closing seconds of the game. Um, it's kind of repetitive as last week, but seeing Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams both put up wide receiver one numbers is really cool. I think they're going to be able to do that against any team in the league, even the Colts defense, who's been playing well. I think that the Rams D line will be able to bottle up Daniel Jones' rushing ability and ultimately put enough pressure on him to make him uncomfortable and kind of have him resort back to the middling quarterback that we've seen for the past 6-7 years or however long he's been in the league for with the Giants. Um, and they've really only been giving up 100 yards total per game on the ground. They bottled up Saquon Barkley pretty well last week, and I like them to at least slow down Jonathan Taylor enough to gain enough of a lead and to kind of flip the game script so where they can't just be the Colts just can't be running the ball down people's throats for the whole game. They're gonna have to put Daniel Jones in some tough spots and some high pressure spots to win the game on the road. So I like the Rams touchdown or more rather easily. Colts kind of come back down to earth. Book it.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of leaning the Colts just by kind of looking at the matchup, but at the same time, I mean, I'm also kind of waiting on reality to hit with this team. So yeah, I mean, I think that you kind of summed up the whole argument where you spent about 5 minutes talking about how this is the greatest team of all time and saying you don't really care. I mean, you call them world beaters. You said talked about how Taylor's been dominating for well over a year straight. But you just
Throw
disregarded
it
all
all out the
that. And,
window.
I appreciate calling your shot because, like I said, I'm also waiting for the moment that Daniel Jones looks like the Daniel Jones that we saw for 60, 70 career starts. I mean, when you look at the numbers, they're really not asking him to do much. I do think that a lot of it is the scheme, and I think that Steichen is at least putting out some good coaching tape for himself and showing what he can do with a guy that's maybe suboptimal at quarterback. But yeah, I mean, I think a coach like McVay is the type of guy that can crack that code and start putting some pressure on this guy and make it a little bit harder. If he's not operating from a clean pocket, then I think that's where it can start to fall apart. So yeah, I mean, I think this very well could be that type of game where Colts could just get blown out.
I like the pick. Like it. I mean, I also just, you look at it on paper and, you know, with how good the Colts have looked, the fact that they're getting three and a hook, it's like, oh, snap reaction might be you got to take it, especially the Rams coming off that devastating loss. But, um, I do think the Rams are the more complete team. Like obviously Jonathan Taylor is like the wagon, but I mean, you look at what they can do, what the Rams can do in the run game. They've got a veteran QB who's still slinging it. Now, I mean, as you said, Bowen, two guys who are putting up wide receiver one numbers, like they're loaded. They got weapons. That defense has looked good. I mean, they've been putting a lot of pressure, like we saw it in the Texans game. Obviously, we were watching that closely, and they played really well for most of the game last week. And, just, I mean, we'd be having a different conversation if they didn't get that fucking thing blocked. But, yeah, so I like that. I think it's a savvy pick. I like it.
Exactly.
uh, fuck.
All right, to the primetime wheel.
All right. Oh, this guy's got a kick. How long is this kick?
52-yard field
52.
goal.
That's like a chip shot these days.
He did miss one earlier, though.
I know.
I don't remember how long that was.
I would like OT.
Yeah, Thursday OT would be nice.
Yeah. I'm not ready to call it quits. God. Oh my God. Oh, he got it. Holy shit, he got it.
Snuck it in. All right,
Wow.
let's
That
spin
thing
this
was
primetime wheel.
that thing was darting right too.
All right,
Yeah.
7.5 point spread.
Okay.
All right, so to be clear, we're picking Cincinnati at Denver minus 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have too strong of a lean in this game. I do like the points here. 7.5 feels like a lot of points for Bo Nix, who's oh wait, are we doing reasoning or are we just picking right now? Do we do reasoning for these?
Yeah, state your reason.
Yeah. State
Okay,
your
okay,
state
sorry.
your
I don't know.
case.
I don't know
But
where
what
my
we
I don't know where my
don't
brain was at.
what we don't do is have snap reactions because
Yes. Bo Nix has been ranked as like one of the least efficient quarterbacks to start the year off this year. Not that Jake Browning's any better, but 7.5 points is a lot. I like Zach Taylor to have Jake Browning a bit more ready to go this week, And I think they just can keep it close enough to stay within that number.
Okay. All right. I am Bengals plus 7.5. Um, I just with that much talent, I just feel like I don't think they can get blown out 2 weeks in a row. I just don't see it. I see this being a bounce back week. For Browning and the Bengals. They lost by 38. Teams who lost by 28 plus points and are then underdogs of 4 points or more in the next game. They cover the spread 61% of the time, 119, 76, and 3. Zach Taylor has coached 3 night games without Joe Burrow. He's been an underdog in all of them. He's won twice as a 10 and a 14.5 point underdog. Um, you know, I thought the Broncos coming into the season were actually going to look better than they have. Um, and I just feel like there's too much talent on that Bengals offense for them to lay down 2 weeks in a row. I think last week it's just one of those things that just felt like a tsunami of shit that just kept happening. Better football team than they showed. And I think in prime time, those guys, Chase, Higgins, even Brown, who's, gotten off to a really atrocious start. I think they're gonna want to show up and show out. And they may not win the game outright, but I think they're gonna keep it close enough.
Hold on, I'll get back. All right.
Big spot for Benny Fazio. A lot of pressure too with the Costanza looming.
Yep.
You gotta hold true to the pick.
Yeah, for a guy like me, it's not too much pressure. But
Listen to this.
unfortunately, I'm on the Broncos minus 7.5. Um, I think that's just one of those hooks on the other side of the number where it's kind of a signal saying, you know what, this does have blowout potential. I just feel like Jake Browning, his work from a couple seasons ago is doing a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, he's played 1.5 games and he already leads the NFL in interceptions. Chase Brown, he's actually been running pretty well when he's been getting yards before contact, but he has not been getting a lot of yards before contact, so that's kind of been the result. He's not getting much push from his offensive line. I think it's just going to be tough. I think this Denver defense can put some pressure on Jake Browning, and of course, they do have a very good secondary. I think that they can play well against this Bengals offense. And when you're looking at the Bengals defense, they're still terrible. I mean, you're trying to look for, which positions kind of outperform compared to the others, and it just kind of looks like everybody eats. I mean, you look at wide receiver one, two, three, everybody's got a touchdown, tight ends got a touchdown, running backs are, getting over 100 yards a game. So I think it's a good offensive matchup, especially at home, in the altitude. Bo Nix, he's played 3 primetime games. He scored, they've averaged 33 points per game in those games. So, I think this is a good spot for that offense to kind of start to put things together. I was kind of looking at it as a potential blowout spot, but I hope I'm wrong.
All right. I'm just updating because I'm gonna submit these picks. Just trying to find. There you are. All right. So to recap the picks, we got the Vikings minus 2.5. That's the international game in Dublin. The pick courtesy of WEEI and Dork Podcast own Rich Keefe. We got the Bucks plus 3.5. That's my pick. Falcons plus 1. That's Benny Fazio. We got the Rams minus 3.5. Bowen going back to the well. And then we got the Bengals plus 7.5 against the Broncos. Myself and Bowen are on the Bengals. Kiernan's on the Broncos. But Armani Suits and Run is on the Bengals. Let's go 5-0.
Let's do this. Next week, we're gonna be looking a little different than next Thursday night. A little bit different.
That's right. Yeah, how are we gonna do this?
Shit.
Well, when do they post the spreads?
This morning.
Get them Thursday morning.
Yeah, I mean,
We could just ballpark it Wednesday night. Like just Kieran, are you on the road Wednesday night or are you
No, I think we're driving up during the day Wednesday.
okay? I mean, maybe we just we'll have a good enough feel of what the lines will be Wednesday night, right? I mean, can't be too big of a shift. I can't imagine between like what the public lines are or like the what the circle lines are and what the other lines are. I don't know.
If it's supposed to be your favorite pick of the week, so I hope that your absolute best bet isn't something that comes down to one or half a point on the spread.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully you're picking something that you think is so wrongly priced that they won't even be a factor.
Man, if any week to go 5-0, it'd be a wedding weekend. It would be a wedding weekend. That's all I gotta say.
Let's set the tone for the week with a 5-0, and then we'll follow it up with another.
See, now you're thinking.
Yeah.
So what would a 5-0 week be like? An albatross?
No, it's an eagle. If 3-2 is a par,
Right.
30, 5-0 is an eagle.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can also, we don't have to take it so literally. I mean, if we do go 5-0, I think we have the right to call it a hole in one.
One might. One other thing to be prepared for, as we are going to be in Rhode Island,
Oh,
where they do not have DraftKings,
I'll drive to the border.
but they do have but they do have Bally's. So you very may well find me at some point playing roulette or blackjack, or possibly even slots on my phone. We were at the bar when we were in Providence a couple of weekends ago. We were at a bar, and I was playing Keno and playing roulette at the same time.
Wow.
Very nice.
Oh,
Can't beat that. Can't beat that.
and then I won like $200 playing blackjack in the Uber on the ride home, and I was like scrambling to play as fast as I could because I knew we were coming up on the border. And when I tell you that shit instantly shuts off, it's crazy.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible.
Oh yeah, they got that. They got that thing on lock. So, alrighty, let's do it. 5-0.
Word.
All
Peace,
right.
fellas.
Talk to you guys.
Later.